Hey YouTube, so let's talk about Cucumber. Like I said in my last recap, I have watched all of season one. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I've watched all of season one. So, while the US catches up, I, whatever. It's funny though, because on my last recap, I didn't edit out the beginning part. A lot of times I'm rushing to edit, render, export, and upload while I'm at work. So I was in such a rush that I totally forgot to edit out that first part. I think it's like the first 50 seconds or whatever where I'm trying to like readjust the the camera. Just a mess, just ratchet. So I apologize for that, but I still got good enough views. So obviously not enough of you were so turned off that you didn't want to watch the rest of the video. So the I did episode 6 because episode 6 I felt was like a interesting sort of water cooler episode, something, it gave people a lot of things to talk about. Episode 7 and 8, I watched them, and yeah, I don't know how I really feel about them. Overall, I think this show is really, really fun and funny, and I like the diverse group of characters and all that stuff. It has a life to it, but I kind of wasn't feeling what happened at the end of episode 7 and the beginning of episode 8. So let's just get into it. Episode 7 opens with Henry getting ready to go to Lance's funeral. And for whatever reason, Freddie and Dean are going. Lance met Freddie once. I don't even think Lance met Dean. He had just heard of Dean. So why are they going to the funeral? I don't understand, but okay. So the funeral is at Lance and Henry's home. And I think that begins the whole obvious rivalry or feud between Henry and Lance's sister. I don't think they really get into it there, but yeah, it's a funeral, and old friends and stuff come, and it's a funeral. Henry's like a bitch because he feels like everybody wants him to cry or whatever, and I feel like that was I can't remember what show, but I feel like that was taken from another show where the person felt like they didn't need to cry over the death of somebody, and then at the end they had this big emotional meltdown or whatever, right? So anyway, the funeral, Henry meets this lady who was close to Lance. I almost want to say it was his first girlfriend, but anyway, that's not important because Henry doesn't talk to her, and then later on he's like, oh, I regret not talking to her, not chasing her out, and not getting her number, blah, 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 blah. So, during the funeral, the same group of guys, the same group of friends that we saw in the first episode at dinner, which includes that, guy who's like, we'll talk about him in episode 8, but, yeah, there's a funny little moment where he talks about how when you get old, you get hairs on your dick and you could pull one and whatever. So they all go into the bathroom to check their dicks. And the one guy whose cum was yellow that they talked about in the first episode, that guy found the hair and then they pulled it. Whatever. And then I think in the same episode, Henry was in the bathroom stall, and then the guy, I don't know his name, the guy with the crutch or whatever, he comes in, and Henry is having his emotional moment, and the guy doesn't say anything. He just lets him have his emotional moment, and then he goes back in the stall, and he cries, right? So I guess later on, Henry and Lance's sister are at dinner or at lunch, and it's funny because I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about this Modern Family episode where Mitch is eating this salad with like grapefruit and, and salmon in it, and he's like tripping out about the salad the whole episode. Like, when did they start putting this on salads? I'm just saying that because I remember watching Lance's sister eat her food. And I was like, what is she eating? I mean, it was obviously a salad, but it just looked so whatever. That's so not important. Oh, I'm so sorry. So anyway, they're talking about obviously, the estate, and basically Lance's sister wants to get a I don't know what they call them, but a third party to handle all the financials and all the divvying up of everything or whatever. And he kind of protested it at first, and she's talking about the house and how, she should get it, and they sort of get into this big argument about it. And she keeps alluding to the fact that Lance is dead because of Henry, and that it's Henry's fault. And he's like, it's not my fault. And she's like, okay. And he's like, it's not my fault. I didn't, I wasn't in that hotel room. Where was I? And he's like, well, how is it my fault? And she can't, answer. And, they get emotional. And then she's like, okay, so we'll sign up for this third party person, right? So that happens. And then, I'm sorry, I'm kind of foggy. I think I watched both episodes on Sunday, and it's Thursday already. So, anyway, the next thing we know, Henry's back in the loft with Freddie and Dean, and does that happen first? No. So he's in the loft, and they're talking about stuff, and I don't know, somehow, Dean, we all know, I guess by now, or maybe I only saw one episode of Banana. I have them all downloaded, but I haven't watched all of them yet. But in that one episode, Dean hooked up with this guy, and he says it's always this thing about Grindr or whatever app they're using, where he, always looks at his favorites. He has favorites, and then he always checks to see if those favorites are around, and, whatever. So there's this one favorite that they all like. And, wait a second, because Henry told Freddie and them that he was a virgin in the car, or did he tell them that earlier? He must have told them that earlier, because, no, he didn't. Okay, so, yeah, they see this guy, he's really hot or whatever, on Grindr, and they're like, oh, well, you know what, we can, use the tracker thing to track him down or whatever. And they're like, okay, 13 miles, he's probably at such and such, because that's a hot place right now. And so they get in the car, and then it's this whole big fun thing about, oh my God, he's only 1 mile away. And they get to like a bar or whatever, and then they look, he's like, 3 miles, he left. So, they're all on this run to go find him, and then they sort of track him down. They figure out where he's supposed to be, but then it starts raining, and they don't have umbrellas, so they all sit in the car. And that's when they kind of, tell secrets or whatever. Henry then says that, he's a virgin. He's never had sex. He's never had penetrative sex. Penetrative sex. Penetrative? I don't think that's the right word, but, he's never had the dick in his butt. What? Up the butt. What? Up the butt. You want to give it in my butt? In my butt. Okay. Sorry. So, I don't know. They start talking about that. And Dean is talking about how he comes in 30 seconds. That's always how it works. And they ask Freddie about his brother, why he never talks about his brother or whatever. I didn't understand why that was so important. But then we get Henry's final emotional breakdown, where he's like, Lance put up with this so long, and I just kept pushing him away, and he has this really sort of grievance moment about Lance, and he's really, really crying, and they're all consoling him and everything. And then he says, but it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Nobody can ever make me believe that, and whatever. And then that's when Freddie starts talking to him. And then it stops raining, and they do see the guy, and the guy's like, oh, hey, well, talking to Freddie, he's like, oh, well, ditch your friends and let's have at it or whatever. And he's like, no. And he, goes home to with Dean and Henry, and their bond is finally solidified. They all like each other, all three of them. So the next morning they're hanging out, and some thugs come in. One of them was really, really super cute though. Some thugs come in and start taking all their shit, and they're like, "What's going on?" Blah blah blah. Everybody in the building is being kicked out and everything. Everybody's all riled up. They're all upset. They're all confused. And then Henry's guy with the cane walks, and so he's walking without the cane now. And I totally didn't notice. I was just like, why are they showing him in this long walk? What's the point of that? But obviously he didn't have the cane. He's a lawyer. He's Henry's lawyer, and he tells Henry that what happens is that apartments go into foreclosure, and then people take that opportunity to get money from potential squatters or whatever. I don't care. So basically, there's no legal recourse that Henry or anybody can take to get back into the house. So this starts the bright idea of the collective, right? And I just want to say that the guy with the cane, I don't know, they're trying to make him likable. They're trying to make him this person that everybody thinks is cool or whatever. And I don't know, I guess he's sort of handsome, but I just don't like him. Not necessarily I don't like the character or whatever. I just don't like when he's on screen. I feel like he's one of those guys that just thinks he's so fucking cool, and I'm like, but you're not though. And Freddy is gonna prove it next episode. I feel like I got dark. I don't know what happened. Does it feel like, okay, that's better. Okay, so yeah, Henry has this bright idea. So he, I guess the next scene we see is Lance's sister packing up because she's sort of taking ownership of the house or whatever. I really don't like this. Okay. So anyway, I really want to get this done. Okay. So, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna turn on some lights real quick. Okay. I can see myself better that way. Okay, and it still is not doing it. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, Lance's sister is packing up, and she's leaving, and the last thing that we see is this big, super big party with everybody, all the intergenerational people, and what have you. I also want to note, there was a very, very small little moment, but Henry's nephew, the one that does the videos, he, is like, oh, this guy is my friend and he's gay or whatever, but we're just friends, right? And then this little twink boy, why am I doing that? It's just not staying up. Okay, this little twink boy, actually, let me turn it around. It might work better. It's just annoying the crap out of me. Okay, so, they're friends, is, platonic or whatever he says, but, there's this sort of twink boy that goes up and flirts with, or his friend flirts with some other guy or whatever, and you see this look of like, from Henry's nephew, and I just thought that was such a sad, kind of cute moment, for whatever reason. But yeah, this episode was okay, I guess. I thought that they could have done a little bit better, but I guess I did like the moment with Henry, Freddy, and Dean in the car. I thought that whole scene was actually pretty dope. Just to see how these people from different backgrounds and stuff can bond, how it can be a real thing. So that is that. And I'll get into the collective and everything in the next episode, which I'm going to record right now. So like this video, comment, please share, and subscribe to my channel. I got 103 now. Okay, bye.